Honeyshuckleex.
I'm Sackbot Barbecue.
And I'm Giggleklutz. And today we have a very special episode for you.
We're going to be talking about cozy games.
Ooh. So get that hot chocolate ready, sit yourself under a nice blanket, and get ready to talk about the ins and outs of what makes a game cozy. And is that cozy really?
Like, is cozy a genre or is cozy an experience?
Both. Porque los dos!
And how fast does the word cozy stop sounding like a word? Because I think that's already happened for me.
It always does when I try and spell it. I gotta say that.
Yeah, it's like Cozy. Like, so few words have, like, ZY. It always looks weird.
Yes, absolutely. So, first let's talk about cozy. What does cozy mean? Truly, it's, I think it's, while a casual genre, also is based in an aesthetic, too.
Yes.
So it's this weird blend, which a lot of game genres really are once you start digging, of an aesthetic or a vibe combined with specific kinds of things.
Yeah, so I have, like, on my notes here, because we have notes this episode, we're gonna get into that a little later, that, yeah, it's mood versus immersive versus ease of picking up.
Ooh, very well stated.
So, like, some overlap of this Venn diagram cozy fits under. It usually has at least one of these traits to it. Like, Stardew Valley is really immersive for a lot of people, and it has a really, like, homely mood, but it's not super easy to pick up. Well, meanwhile, some people might find, like, a match 3 game really cozy and easy to pick up, but it's not very immersive or necessarily fitting of a mood.
True, and they can be really stressful and hard once you get past a certain level, too. So there's, like, peak cozy is often right at the beginning of the experience, honestly. It's like, what welcomes you in, and then do they trick you into staying at some point. And for me, my notes on cozy are less stressful than some other games. They're, in general, not really trying to challenge you message-wise, usually difficulty-wise. Stardew Valley being an exception, I think, sometimes. There is a lot of difficulty with that, I found. Anyway, that's for, let's see, non-combat based, not timed, chill tunes. Okay, yeah, so usually the music is pretty chill, and often there is a fall or nature theme. Beach also kind of falls on that. These are all common themes in cozy.
Yeah, it's really difficult to break this down because there's so many different aspects that people call cozy or have experienced and felt the cozy feeling. Because, like, that's what it is. It's like, does the game make you feel this way? It's gonna answer differently depending on the person. It is a very, very subjective label.
Yeah, it's like, when I think cozy, I think about, like, kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling. And it's like, something gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling.
This can easily be achieved by kittens, but it also, in gameplay, often comes from building something from the ground up, is something that is recurrent in a lot of cozy games. Typically, that can be, like, community, but sometimes it can be a storefront, like...
Oh, sure. So there's a lot of different elements that fall into cozy, and I would say 2 major camps of cozy are, actual big-time genre games, they're casual games, and then ones that are video games of puzzles, like I'm thinking Castle Full of Cats as an example of that, and all of those coloring book or hidden object kinds of things where it's something you could have in a kid's magazine, put in a digital format, that's real puzzles. It's that weirdness between puzzle game, meaning a game with a story in it that has puzzles as part of its mechanic, or just puzzles in a digitized format.
Yeah, you're not calling Portal cozy.
Oh, and I'm not saying all puzzles in a video game format are cozy, because some of them can be super challenging or stressful and...
Just morbid?
Yes, all of that. But, you know what I mean? Just talking about the two of the camps. There's just the 2 major ones that I'm thinking of. I'm sure I'm limited by my experience, and the video game world is so much bigger than my experience can encompass. I don't have enough time, just as a living human being, to play all the games.
Yeah, because, like, for some people as well, cozy games just means farming simulator. because of the fact that Stardew Valley blew up and, like...
Yeah.
It's like, no, that farming sim is a farming sim. It's not synonymous.
And, yeah, just thinking about how, like you were saying, cozy's going to be really personal. What feels relaxing to one person may feel incredibly stressful to the next person. You know, so it's like, yeah, Stardew Valley has the chill vibes and the nature setting, but if it's stressful for you to be surrounded by mess, that's not so cozy for like that. And if it's work all the time on a timer, because each day is a timer, I find it stressful. I like playing when I'm into it, and I really did love the recent update this spring. I enjoyed playing with all the new stuff. I was quite into it for a while, which definitely will come up in the review. I will have forgotten how much I played that when that was new. But, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, I think while most people's minds... I'm thinking back on the building aspect really quick. A lot of people think about Stardew Valley as well, but the other big contender for the build up a community is Animal Crossing. You move to this place where you don't know anybody and you start to get to know people, and sometimes people move out and new neighbors come in instead. Like, the frequency depends on, like, the game in question, but it is all about settling in with these people you care about, and depending on the game itself, you can also, like, build up the economy or decorate the island or what have you. There's a lot of simple life things to do in Animal Crossing, and that's why it's another one of those staple cozy games for a lot of people. Especially with New Horizons coming out in 2020 when lockdown happened.
Oh, yeah.
And with that aspect covered, I think we've summed up, like, the most important things for cozy.
I think so. I mean,
there's
always my points.
We got a frame of reference for our next segment,
which we're pretty excited about. This is one of our better ideas in a while.
Yeah, it feels refreshing to just stumble on this and go, ooh. It makes me think, and it makes me go to that little place where I feel a little impish.
So anyway, we devised a little game we're going to play with you guys. It's called...
Will It Cozy?
And so anyway, we each picked some games with varying levels of not cozy, very cozy, is it cozy? And we're going to talk about why a game may or may not fit into the cozy genre. And about how we feel about that. I think we're going to try and leave them pretty spoiler-free, but recommendation we will definitely give recommendations for. And I believe all these games that everyone who recommends a game has played the game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're all going to talk about games that the speaker has played, not necessarily the collective.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go first?
Sure, I could go first.
Shuckles up! Will it cozy?
I'm going to start with something very, very basic, which people already kind of assume is a cozy game, and for the most part, I kind of agree with. We're going to talk a little bit about Graveyard Keeper. Okay,
there's question marks above my head. You can't see me.
Okay, so it falls into the sort of gameplay aspects that are repetitive and easy to lose yourself in, alright?
And I'm going to give the audience just a little... If you've never heard of Graveyard Keeper...
Right.
Graveyard Keeper is this game where it's kind of medieval, and all of a sudden you're thrown to the job where you're supposed to be dealing with dead bodies, and you can loot them for parts. Okay. That's your primary source of money, is using body parts and stuff as crafting materials. I'm gagging a little bit.
Hold on. Okay, look, yes, you are isekai'd into this universe, and you have to tend to the graveyard, right? I know that on the surface level, that's like a pretty dark premise, but here's the thing, like, all the gameplay aspects pretty much are just Stardew Valley with a different coat of paint. Like...
Okay, I'm gonna okay that, but there's something in I think spoiler territory that I'm just like...
Yes, that's where we get into a little bit of the iffiness, is like some of the tone, but there's also like comedy aspects, and there's also community building aspects, which are staples of the cozy genre. So the tone is wildly out there, but everything else falls under the parameters that most people consider a cozy game.
Ah, jeez. Well, this isn't a bad time of year for me to play it again. I did abysmally the one time I tried to play.
Oh, but, yeah. If you're squeamish, this isn't the game for you.
Well, I can get over that. But okay. So anyway, will it cozy? The verdict. I don't know, how does that sound to you? Sackbot?
I know too much to possibly consider it a cozy game by my own standards.
But have never played.
I have not played, but I don't need to make that ruling.
Okay. And I've played some, and I'm like, it could be a cozy game if you don't think too hard, which is never a demographic I'm going to fit into, which is fine. It's like, I'm in the crowd that could use some lightening up a lot of the time. So, I'm not goals, okay?
Meanwhile, I say, this is a cozy game. This is absolutely a cozy game. If you like dark humor, this is a cozy game.
Alright, meanwhile, I have played some. It was fun, and as I've been reminded, there's theming that I don't want to get into right here that I'm thinking I would benefit from exploring again. Graveyard Keeper is a good game if you've never played it.
Yeah, there's some clear hiccups in it because I think it's made mostly by one person, but what game doesn't have their hiccups?
Right. So anyway, mixed bag. Graveyard Keeper for cozy.
Actually, is it only made by one? Hold on, I might need to research that later.
We need to keep going.
We do.
All right, next up for Will It Cozy? All right, here's the first one on my list, and it's Wilmot Works It Out, which has been my current obsession. It just came out this last week.
Yeah, you have been playing that extensively.
Right. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. So Wilmot Works It Out is a jigsaw puzzle game where you're a little cube who pushes the pieces around and clicks them together and has to sort them out because they come in little packages, and each package has different pieces in it. It's not all one puzzle, so you have to figure out which pieces go to which puzzle. Well, you're never given the picture to pull from. So it's got a lot going on. It definitely ticks so many of the boxes of cozy. So I would think that most people will find it cozy. You guys playing it would definitely say cozy, lighthearted music, all of that. I love it, but I find it the main game I find hectic. There's something about the music that makes it seem escalating to me, and there's a mechanic where as soon as you're trying to put a finished picture on the wall, the door knocks. It interrupts you trying to decide where the picture's gonna go and knocks. And I just recently found out door knocking is actually a major trigger of mine. So it just kind of sets off my PTSD, which the music then escalates. So I'm discovering that until we get to marathon mode, where I just get to completely zone out and do puzzle pieces after puzzle pieces, it wasn't that cozy for me. I was having a good time, but it didn't fit the cozy vibe for me anymore. But that is absolutely a personal problem. I totally recommend the game. I think it's very chill for most people.
Yeah, I feel like, as you've talked to me about your experience with this game, it has both been a cozy game and definitely not a cozy game.
I know, but that's so not what this discussion's kind of about. It's a personal problem. The game itself is cozy. I'm just not cozy.
Looking inward from the outside, just from a simple aesthetic reason, it tells me that it is trying to fit the cozy genre. I'm willing to say that yes, it will cozy, just from what I've heard about it and its general aims. But I have not played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember a lot of family bonding moments that came from just putting a puzzle together.
And it pulls that vibe too, especially that kooky one that you did, Shuckle, where it had all the pieces that didn't fit together, because there are some that look like they could go in multiple different pictures, or that look like something completely different because it's just a little square took out of context. Mm-hmm. So there's a puzzly nature to it. It's not quite as simple as it is, but it's also got the cozy stuff where you can decorate his house and choose a pet and that kind of stuff. So yes, it definitely is a cozy, but I wanted to put it on here just to talk a tiny bit about how cozy is not blanket. There's not anything that's going to be cozy for everyone.
it's like, with a first-person shooter, that's usually pretty inarguable. When it comes to genre labels, comparatively between, Cozy, that's kind of, it's not necessarily about specific mechanics, arguably. It's like...
Yeah, some of them genre labels are more about vibe than anything else, and vibes are incredibly personal and subjective.
Yeah, but to get to the thing I want to focus on going into this next entry I want to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
The next game I want to ask, will
it cozy?
Is, it's kind of about decoration, kind of as a theme, customization, and, sort of minutia and optional.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
It's like, one thing I want to present as a cozy game that I might not necessarily bring up primarily as one is Starbound, actually.
Really?
Huh. Okay.
Make your case.
So, what Starbound was sold to me and many other people first and foremost was as, this kind of somewhat, Terraria-esque setup of, sort of having procedural tile-based planets to explore, and you go on, like, adventures and stuff on them, but the thing that makes me think kind of cozy is just, first of all, the game's overall tone is generally pretty, lighthearted and silly. It's a particularly goofy universe this game is set in. But the thing that really spoke to me as cozy is just how much stuff in the game is pretty much just exists for its aesthetics. It's like all sorts of like building materials and furniture you can find out there, so you can like build structures and stuff out of them, or at the very least make your spaceship look nice.
Building stuff for my spaceship was one of the things I did like most about Starbound.
And I've never experienced anything Starbound, so I'm just going to take your guys' word on it. And some other day we can talk about my one time trying to play Terraria. Giggle Klutz is a name I earned, okay?
Well, thinking about just, the main thing that makes me think, kind of, look at Starbound through a cozy lens is, the fact that you can, actually, build towns with, people you can, do quests and stuff for. And it's like, of course, some of that's exaggerated because I deliberately, I mod the hell out of that game, so I installed some extra stuff to make that. But yeah, that's the basic concepts that are present in the vanilla game, so it's something that anybody who plays Starbound can access.
Okay.
Yeah, a counterpoint to this is, of course, just how action-heavy it is. Not to say that cozy games can't have action in it, but there is, before you can, leave one particular solar system, you kind of have to go through an action horror sequence, kind of.
Okay, Miss Graveyard Keeper's cozy.
I know.
Yeah, in order to achieve full space travel, you do have to complete the game's scariest mission.
Which is weird.
Yeah, because, it really backs off most of, if not, all of its horror elements after that one. Okay, well, not all of them, because there's when you go mining on the moons for fuel, but...
Starbound's tone is like a metronome, sometimes.
Yeah, it's it tries to take itself seriously, tries to be outright spooky in a few places, but then it's just kind of as a baseline silly. It's there's medieval robots in space, for crying out loud.
And then you run into, llama people. Or whatever.
Okay.
Specifics doesn't matter. Point is, it's weird.
Alright. So that fits somewhere on the scale that has cozy elements for Sackbot, Starbound. Are we ready, Shuckle?
Yes, we are ready for more.
Will It Cozy?
Alright, so this entry, I'm gonna say, it goes into the easy to pick up kind of aspects here, because I'm gonna talk about Slay the Spire. Okay, look, I told you guys behind the scenes here. I picked a lot of borderline games.
Right, I know you wanted to have fun with this.
Yeah.
Which one's our troll? Actually, you guys are both trolls. I'm not.
Okay.
You guys are both trolls.
Slay the Spire is a card-based battler deck builder. So you progress through the game, you pick up cards.
Isn't it also roguelike?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you completely lost me. I don't think any of those things are cozy. Why is it cozy?
It is a puzzle. This is a game where combat is puzzle. Every enemy is basically something that needs to be solved, and you are given options to solve those puzzles. That is how I think about combat in Slay the Spire, and that is why I think it's an easy to pick up, easy to put down sort of adventure. It is a puzzle roguelike to me, and that's part of why I think it is cozy. It is comforting to pick it up and know that there are some things that are going to happen, and how am I going to prepare for that? From just it's always there for me kind of roguelike. As somebody who's played a lot of roguelikes, this is the comfort roguelike. This is the cozy one to me.
Yeah, I think, out of a lot of other roguelikes I've played, it's like, I know at the time I got into Slay the Spire initially, I was also playing a lot of Risk of Rain 2, and it's like, yeah, I mean, compare the two of those, it's like...
It's night and day.
Slay the Spire, I mean, if something's going good or something's going wrong, you know what's happening. Most of the stuff that progresses is completely in your hands to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not timed either. Like, and save scumming's always an option. Not that I do that, ever. I don't make mistakes and then backpedal, no.
Was this cookie clicker?
Personally, yeah, my stance on this definitely is like, I would not advertise this even remotely as a cozy game, but might be the coziest roguelike I've ever played.
Yeah, I think it fills the niche for people who like the genre, and that's why I thought I would bring it up, because of that.
But yeah, it's also the kind of thing I think about, with cozy games, that they can often just let you get into the minutiae of things, and yeah, Slay the Spire is all about thinking things through.
And it also has adaptive difficulty, so you can play it as difficult as you want. And then there's also basically like a free play mode where you can just give yourself a bunch of overpowered stuff. If you just go like, hey, I want every battle to give me a powerful relic, you can do that.
Okay.
Or you can just say whatever and just make the game impossible just for lols.
Which, I guess.
Which can be fun in its own right.
Right. But it doesn't sound cozy, but that's okay. We're not claiming that this would really be considered a cozy game. You wanted...
I want to poke at what this means, really. Like, some of you are thinking way too narrow-mindedly.
And the phrase that comes to mind is, don't be so open-minded as your brain falls out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I did not come up with it. I forget who said that, but that's an internet thing that I have been exposed to. I did not come up with that. So are we ready for the next...
Will It Cozy?
Okay, so my next one is Happy Game.
Okay. Do you want to explain a little bit here?
This is my push the thing. I don't even have a good argument for calling this a cozy game. It's just one of those that you might see the title and see the childlike, toy-shaped graphics and think to yourself, this would be a great fun game to play to relax or to give to children. It is not. It is really not. The vibe is horrified. Your player character is horrified most of the time and made complicit in horrible things. We talk about this in the second art episode, I think, or maybe third art episode last year. But
yeah, when we talked a lot about art in games.
Anyway, if you want to know more about Happy Game, I do recommend it, and spooky season's a great time to play it, but I don't think it's cozy. I just was putting it here to troll.
Yeah, from what you've talked about, in the previous episode and whatnot, it seems to be a game that's cozy for everyone but you.
Well, yeah. I mean, the horrors seem to be having a great time, while the child is like, you want me to what? I'm supposed to blow the bunny up? And the music is often a bop. Some sections have a lot of bright colors and flowers and stuff, and you think it's going to be... It would fit cozy. This is my, nope.
No.
Yeah, it's like everything is happy and smiling while you maim it.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not spoilers. You can see all of that on its Steam page. So if you want to just... edge of challenging puzzle. It wasn't mind-breaking, but really interesting themed art piece. Puzzle game. Happy Game is great. It's not cozy.
It's not cozy.
Not cozy. Alright, so it doesn't cozy. Alright. And I forgot that was going to feel so good to have one that wasn't cozy.
It's
I
not
was hesitant.
That's not cozy. No.
Alright, are we ready for the next?
Will It Cozy?
Yeah, one of the more interesting ideas of cozy that popped into my head was, I was looking through my Steam library thinking of things to talk about, since it's I don't play stuff typically for being, cozy so much. Take Starbound, for example. That was an experience I found in it later. Same with Terraria, kind of, to a lesser extent, wanting to get into building stuff in that game, but anyway. But yeah, looking through my games and stuff to just, at least grasp at straws, if nothing else. It's I remember, a game I actually picked up, at least for a little bit again recently, which was Scribblenauts Unlimited.
Ooh.
It's like, yeah, I feel like, that one's kind of, I see that as a cozy game in a lot of, sort of the general tone it has overall, and just the kind of, usually is not a ton of pressure on anything.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from here, where, Sandbox is definitely something that also can be cozy. Just the freedom.
Yeah.
It's like, the question is, it's like, do you find the prospect of solving a bunch of puzzles just by kind of giving everybody, cartoon guns with silly adjectives? Is that cozy to you?
It is to me. I mean, that just sounds lighthearted and fun. For me, that sounds cozy.
It's like, you can get into some stuff that doesn't really sound particularly fun or approachable, but it presents it in such a way where it just kind of ends up being silly, at least, to my experience.
Yeah. This is one of those games where you can try to make a hot chocolate and you might get a hot chocolate bar, right?
Yeah.
On fire and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. So we've got a consensus. It's like, okay, that's a plausible cozy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got, a fun cartoony art style, typically just, cheery, chill music, and just a bunch of silly tasks to do.
All right, ready for Will
It Cozy!
Okay, so I did a little bit of research on this one. Okay, so because on an aesthetic front, this game it's cute. It is very cute. And I was like, nobody actually thinks this is a cozy game, right? And then I look it up, and there is discussions where they go like, yeah, this game makes me feel so cozy. Or, hey, cozy gamers, if you want to try something new, try this game. And I went, what? So there's a niche community of people who do think that this is a cozy game, and the game is Hollow Knight.
Okay.
The characters are very adorable. The music is quiet, calm, and relaxing. And there's some genuine, heartfelt moments in this game. But it is brutally difficult. It is very action platform. And it is dark. And the fact that there's a discussion. Is this game cozy? And I have to sit here and I'm like, I would not recommend this to people who tell me that they are cozy gamers.
No. No. I don't want to play Hollow Knight.
No, I would not
want to play Hollow Knight.
I would sooner make you sit down and play Celeste than I would make you play Hollow Knight.
Side note, Celeste is definitely much more I would categorize that as much more qualified as a cozy game.
Yeah, I was debating putting it on my list, and then I'm like, no, that's not weird enough. But at the same time, I'm also a person who does pick this game up sometimes and do a little bit of randomizer when I want to unwind sometimes. And, yes, I am weird. Yes, I'm weird.
I think the world of video games is specifically for all of us to be our weird selves. So let's celebrate that. But yeah, Hollow Knight. Okay.
You only find the cozy experience in that by accident.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Or if your idea of cozy is all aesthetic.
Yeah, and even then there's some monsters in this game that are like, ugh.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know too much, but most of what I know about Hollow Knight is dark and morbid.
But apparently that's somebody's cozy jam. So there we go. All right, that's probably not for Hollow Knight, but apparently it's not off the table for discussion. How fascinating.
I know. The music for Hollow Knight is, one of the primary things I have on my, video game relaxation playlist, which is, alrighty.
When part of the genre is vibe, you never know what else is going to come with it.
Uh-huh.
All right, are we ready for the next?
Will It Cozy?
All right, the next one I have is a short hike.
Oh, yeah. I figured you were going to pick that one.
So you didn't?
So I didn't.
Yeah, I was too thoughtful of the actual, because this is cozy. You can't argue. It's almost a quintessential cozy to judge other cozies off of. It checks off so many of the boxes. The nature scene. I put another note in here as we've been talking is often things that are family friendly end up in the cozy just to try and, it's like if you have to keep it family friendly, you're more likely to land in the cozy area. It's not going to be too hard. It's not going to be too fast. all of that kind of stuff. I mean, but it has like a running race, there's some challenges to it, it's not just simple, but there's also all kinds of fun optional things you could do in this open world, and it's a cute little story, fun graphics. I fully love it. It was a lot of fun to play. If you haven't played a short hike and you need something lighthearted to do, I really recommend it.
Yeah, this game is very gentle in what you make of it, and God, yeah, I played it once, and it has occupied some thought time ever since.
Right, so I just wrote down in the list, just very cozy.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the game myself, but I have heard nothing that makes me think it isn't a cozy game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you'd like to play it, that can be arranged.
It can absolutely be arranged.
Okay, noted.
Alright.
Are you ready? For
Will
It Cozy? So, one of the things I was really thinking about in, the definition of where I might draw the line of where cozy is, it's like, one of the things that can, make a cozy game feel cozy is perhaps just your ability to just, something you can turn to just play, relax, kind of unwind, space out or whatever. But that's not exclusively what makes a cozy game for me, because, Super Hot is not a cozy game.
I was wondering where this was going.
Oh my god, I can't spell while we're laughing. I spelled super, S-P-U-P-E.
Oh, super!
No, spooper.
Spooper!
Spooper hot.
Duper!
Spooper hot might be cozy, but super hot is not. Alright, describe super hot for us, in case no one's ever seen this. It always looks nuts.
So it's, first of all, the most innovative shooter I've played in years.
That's the obligatory statement.
But yeah, it's this first-person shooter where time only moves when you move. So it's kind of got more sort of like strategic or puzzle elements to it. Since everything slows down when you're standing still, you can think things through and dodge individual bullets.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to play that part of the Matrix, you can play that part of the Matrix.
My point going into this was that I don't slap the cozy label on it. It's like I have part of a cozy relationship with its endless mode. I could just, put on some chill music, pour myself a cup of chamomile tea, and just shoot some dudes in slow motion.
Chill beats to assassinate people to.
And I'm just realizing that endless modes do have a sort of zen to them. And that zenness leads itself to whatever your personal cozy is. No matter what other baggage your personal cozy carries, the zenness is kind of what cozy is trying to get at. That's the vibe.
Yeah, but for legitimately the most cozy part of this game is it does have kind of a virtual desktop or virtual OS built into it, so there are actually some sort of apps, little games, and lo-fi simulator thingies, programs on the computer the game is set in, so there's some little things you can goof around with.
The menu's cozy.
So it's making me think that our categories for cozy are everyone would think is cozy only in a personal way, not cozy.
Yeah, that does seem like the tiers.
Yeah. Alright, are we ready for the next?
Will It Cozy?
So, my last one surprised me in one direction, and this one kind of surprises me in the other direction. I'm going to talk about the Pokemon series.
Ooh.
So, you guys know what Pokemon is. Everybody knows what Pokemon is. There's a lot of adorable creatures that you raise to go on adventures with. You are nurturing your team from the ground up. What about this isn't cozy? Like, you get to pet them and play with them and feed them little sandwiches. Like, what about this isn't cozy? And it's an adventure with a cute sheen on it. Does that make it cozy? Like, does it really? A lot of the Pokemon games are played on handheld, like, pretty much every mainline game has been on a handheld until the Switch happened and made that kind of nebulous. So, there's an inherent, easy to pick up aspect to it as well, but it's not like this is going out of its way to be warm. It doesn't mean that it's, trying to appeal to that sort of vibe. If it came out today, it might have, but at its core, it's just been about an adventure where you go beat up these guys. And that left me realizing, I don't think Pokemon is a cozy game.
Uh-oh. So that surprised you?
Yeah.
On one hand, they do add a lot of, features across the series that allow you to just kind of just do fun stuff with your Pokemon that doesn't involve, making the animals fight. But, also, I've heard, talk about what it's like getting a team ready for, competitive, and it's when you get into that sort of thing, there's a lot of minutia to a Pokemon game that specifically strips all the coziness out of it to focus on making your Pokemon the optimal killing machines.
And
fainting machines. Fainting of the other people, that's another important distinction.
And
they're not goats.
Those exact same aspects also get in the way of playing from, a casual standpoint as well. Because, for example, getting some particular loot that you need to make your Pokemon better would require you to battle in raids, sometimes for hours and hours, looking for one thing. And, each raid can take 5 minutes optimally and 10 minutes not optimally, and it's oh my god. Basically, I'm saying, why isn't Pokemon more cozy? I feel like, at this point, that's probably the market that you appeal to, aside from, the Battle Bros, right? So, where's the cozy?
Well, that's, if we have more time, that's something you could get into. You could probably do a whole separate episode about what they could do to make Pokemon more cozy. But for right now, I wrote down Pokemon series cozy facade. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's really weird to sit with this feeling of no, it doesn't bring me the cozy feelings. It doesn't.
And that surprised you. You've been into this for a long time. It's a home for you.
It is. Why isn't my home cozy?
Alright, I've got a bunch left on my list, but I'm just going to skip to one, okay? So ready?
Will it cozy?
The last one I'm going to do is Smile for Me.
Oh, yeah.
That is an interesting one.
It is. I wasn't sure where to put it, because it's got some cozy vibes.
It does.
And the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's got the, overarching dread.
It's very approachable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's I don't know that I would ever recommend it as cozy, but I wouldn't be surprised if people into cozy games liked it.
It's definitely a casual game, but is it a cozy game?
Yeah, and how amorphous is that line? How sturdy is that line?
It's kind of funny, because it's the whole idea is you go around this place trying to make people happy.
Right.
The whole context of the place you're in, the habitat, is it's supposed to be the place where you go when you're feeling sad, but the Dr. Habit, the person in charge of all this, it's immediately set up right away that they don't seem to be in any rush to make anyone happy.
Right, but we won't get into more, because we're not going to spoil anything. But
go look at our episode if you want to know more.
Yeah, we've got an episode on that game, so... But anyway,
Yep.
I'm it's leaning more towards cozy just because of the child-friendly-ish. I'd say family-friendly rather than child-friendly. I wouldn't leave little kids alone with the game. I don't think it'd hurt them, but I don't think they'll get all of it either. That kind of thing. So it's maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one of those things where if you put it on a list of cozy games without, specifying any sort of spectrum or whatever, I would understand why it's there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of those that's ooh, there's arguments for both, so I put it on my list. Alright.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Which is good! That's part of what we were doing this for, is to really push the boundaries of the genre barrier and really talk about it for a second. Alright.
Will it cozy?
So yeah, this is getting into the last one I have sort of picked out. So, I'm just gonna get right to it. Little Inferno.
Oh!
Yeah, Little Inferno.
So it's immediately,
So Little Inferno is a cartoony graphic little game, and the only thing that you get for your setup is a fireplace. And a mail person basically delivers you stuff, including a catalog.
So yeah, it's the whole premise of the game is just it's real cold outside, and you have purchased the Little Inferno entertainment fireplace to keep yourself warm and occupied while it's cold.
So the whole game is just you set stuff on fire.
Yep, you order stuff out of a catalog, maybe play with it a bit, and then set it on fire.
Yeah. Sometimes the stuff you set on fire screams.
It's like, yeah, I will absolutely say, well, there is definitely, like, inherently a cozy vibe. That's kind of one of the specific things it's going for. You're supposed to be cozied up by this entertainment fireplace and all, but this is a game that is cozy until it isn't.
Which is a thing that happens.
Yeah. There's an inherent coziness to a fireplace. And I think that is part of what lends the game to this, like...
And there's something inherently childlike in the idea of setting everything on fire. There just is. The kids are fascinated with fire. But yeah, I would definitely, again, just like the last one, absolutely understand and accept that it's on a cozy list, if it was there. But would I put it on one?
Yeah, it's like, it's just another one of those things where, really makes you think just, like, cozy slides into morbid so easily. It comes around just a lot more than I was expecting.
But maybe it's just our examples and taste,
I think it is. I think it is a cozy game.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I think it is. I think there's just, like, enough going for it in, like, the burning. That's, like, its whole thing. You burn stuff. Yes. I think it fits.
And, well, I don't want to get into too much detail, and... It's like, well, I don't think it necessarily excels in this regard. It is supposed to kind of have, like, more emotion and inspiration to its overall story and its premise.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just smiling. Like, yeah, I've got lots of thoughts about Little Inferno, but it's like, the needle pushes towards cozy, but there's definite, if you have things against that,
there's
stutter here.
It's definitely a cozy butt. Kind of, but
depending on your persuasion.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you just want to talk about what's left, or do you want to do another?
I think I want to touch on one final thing.
Okay, and then I have some honorable mentions that I'll just talk about after you're done.
Well, I mean, I could also just, we could also just save all of them in case we want to do it again sometime. What?
No, I want to encourage us to play a whole bunch of new games between this and next time we do it.
So, here's my last thing that I wanted to mention on
Will It Cozy?
So, this is a game that is absolutely stunning visually and very cartoony and adorable. I'm mentioning here Cuphead. No. This is why we can't have the end-all be-all on, is a game cozy based on its aesthetic. No. This is one of the few games ever that has made me fucking rage quit. This is not a cozy game.
It's like
I don't know, I'm pretty cozy.
It's like I haven't seen a ton of cartoons from the era that its art style is drawing from, but I don't see a lot of those as being cozy, to be completely honest.
Not by modern standards, no.
No. But the way some people talk about this game makes me just go, what the hell do you guys see in this game that I don't? And I'm not shaming you for loving this game, but what am I missing? Why does this make you feel on such a deep level? It's beautiful. I agree. I don't want to play this game ever again. It's great.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. I've only seen some of it. I'm like, I remember the aesthetic. I can see why people might think it's cozy. I also know it's a bullet hell, which I don't consider those cozy. So, especially when it's a strictly bullet hell.
Like, it's a shoot-'em-up platformer bullet hell. That is really ridiculously hard.
I'm sorry, my eyeballs are falling out.
Exactly!
Alright, so Cuphead.
No!
Not cozy.
No! I refuse.
Alright, so on my list, I had 3 that I think basically fall into cozy for different reasons that I'll have as honorable mentions here. Glass Masquerade, which is another puzzle piece one put together, except in Glass Masquerade, all of the pictures are stained glass images that were designed by a specific artist that I don't remember the name of. Then Mutazone.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, which is storytelling with some ups and downs, but the baseline is community and cozy. There's some creepy vibes and some mystery going on, but definitely I think falls into cozy. And then Cozy Grove.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Right, which the only reason that I don't think it's cozy for me again falls into stuff that's just me, is that it is too busy sometimes. The whole aesthetic is so they can have a hidden object element to it, is there's garbage you cannot clean laying all over your map. They put stuff everywhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't start with a clean slate. You cannot clean it all up. And for me, that takes away some of what would feel cozy. You know, it's like one of my favorite things about each season change in Stardew Valley is cleaning up the farm again and making it nice and tidy. You can't do that in Cozy Grove.
I need to get you an Animal Crossing at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I need more things taking up my whole brain. Anyway, those were my my honorable mentions. That they're all games I've played and really, really enjoy. So
yeah, and I was torn between whether to talk about Balatro or Slay the Spire when it comes to cozy roguelikes. Balatro inherently doesn't have any combat in it, but like still follows like some of the same strategy-ish principles that I think of with Slay the Spire, but Slay the Spire is just so much closer to my heart.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, you put me in that position of whether or not bring Slay the Spire or Balatro to the table is like, well, I mean, I guess for me it's like I've had so much less experience with Balatro to a significant amount since I've only played one run of it. Really good, though.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
it sounds like it's a lot of fun, but do you think it's cozy?
Like,
Yes, for the same reasons you find Slay the Spire cozy.
In some ways, and then like there's some other ways where it's not. It's definitely a lot more lo-fi, which is a lot more people consider cozy. But that's more detail than I meant to get into, because, yeah, other things. I get a cozy feeling playing with my friends in Deep Rock Galactic. It's weird, but like camaraderie is something that we didn't talk about with this, and I think that's
Deep
cozy.
Rock Galactic is an online multiplayer game where you're a
dwarf.
You're a dwarf
in space shooting bugs to go get gold.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you were mining, but I know you have a lot of fun when you play. That I definitely know.
Teamwork is cozy. Shooting bugs, not necessarily.
Except when it works as a team!
And then as an alternative for not cozy, I had Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is one of the hardest games ever made. Almost everybody who's played it agrees. It's a rhythm-based roguelike, and you're gonna have to take my word for it. Maybe go try it. If you think it's not that hard, go try it.
There's some things you have to actually experience to have an informed opinion.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, if you come back and it's like, hey, that wasn't actually that hard for me. It's like, yeah, good for you.
Uh-huh.
There may be competitions available for you. You may be a contender.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to judge you if you're wrong about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for trying new things. Good for you.
One final note is the last one that I was considering was actually Hypnospace Outlaw.
Oh, yeah.
I think that game's kind of cozy. There's something nice about browsing the internet as a game.
Yeah, you just get to find an online space that's like just full of people being people, you know?
Grimaces and need to do my homework.
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
I still haven't played Hypnospace Outlaw, but there's a lot of things I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Willy Cozy with Collab Not Multiplayer.
If you guys like it, we might come back.
Do another one or do a different genre or something like that.
Yeah, put in the comments if there's anything that you want to argue is or is not cozy.
Or just something you've had a cozy experience with that you wouldn't say is a cozy game.
It's like cozy to you that's not cozy to anybody else. We would love to hear those.
Yeah, a big agree.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for discussion on this.
Absolutely, and I hope you have as much fun with it as we did. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Giggleklutz.
I'm Honeyshuckleex.
And I'm Sackbot Barbecue.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.